Welcome to today's workshop. The presentation is entitled Using MLA Formatting in Your Essays. So let me go ahead and share that to you now. All right. So once again, this is Using MLA Formatting Your Essays from Miami-Dade College Wolfson Campus Learning Resources. A little bit about myself. My name is Rene Ferrer. I'm your presenter for today. I have a Master's of Arts in English. I'm an adjunct professor of English at FIU St. Thomas Florida Memorial, and I'm currently a writing consultant for learning resources at MDC Wolfson. Now, the workshop objectives for today will be as follows. Students will learn how to create a template using Microsoft Word. You're going to learn how to format your essays according to MLA standards. You will learn how to use correct in-text MLA citations. And finally, you will learn how to construct a proper works cited page. So let's begin here. This is what a document should look with Microsoft Office. Although, depending on your program, on your computer, you may have different Word programs. But we'll be using Microsoft Office. Now, the first thing you want to concern yourself with as a student is setting up your document according to MLA standards. So first things first, let's look at font and font size. Let me go ahead and hit play here. Now, as you can see in the top left, Microsoft Office is set to, it's set to Calibri and 11-point font. Now, according to MLA standards, it should be a Times New Roman 12-point font. Now, what you can do every time you open a Word document is set it to that. But of course, every time you open it again, it'll reset itself back to Calibri and 11-point font, which means that you open it again, once again, it'll be set back to that. So what you're going to want to do is click on this box here, the font box, and you're going to want to set your defaults. And here you see the font size. Now you can scroll down, but I would suggest just typing Times New Roman into this field. And now your font is set to Times New Roman. Now click on 12-point font. And you're now set to Times New Roman 12-point font, but don't click OK. What you want to do is click Set as Default. Do you want to set the default font to Times New Roman 12-point? If you click this document only, it'll only be this document. So you want to click All Documents based on a normal template. Click on that, click OK, and now in future, when you open your Word document, it'll be set to Times New Roman 12-point font. The next thing you want to look at is your line spacing. Now again, when you open it, create a new document, you can click double spaced, and that would work fine, but every time you open it again, it'll go back to its normal settings. So you want to click here, Paragraph Settings, and these are the features you want to change. First, you want to look at spacing. It says here, after 8 points. Now, as you can see, it adds that additional space in there. You don't want that. So what you want to do is you want to go back to the 8-point and reduce it to 0. That removes that spacing that was there. Now you want to go to line spacing. It says multiple 1.08. That's incorrect according to MLA. What you want to do is you want to click double here. And as you can see, now it's properly double spaced. So what you want to do again is click Set as Default. And again, click All Documents based on normal template. That way, when you create a new document, it'll already be set to double spaced. So there you go. The next you want to concern yourself with are your margins. You want to have 1-inch margins all around, top, bottom, left, right. So click Layout, the top left here, and then click Margins. Now, as you can see, this particular document, the standard is already set to 1-inch margins, so that's fine. However, some Word programs come with a different size settings for example, Office 2003 default was left margins and right margins at 1.25 inch, which is incorrect. So let's assume that your document comes with incorrect margin settings. You want to correct them. So again, you want to click this box right over here, the page setup box. And that will open this up for you. And you'll be able to manually adjust your margin settings. Now again, here, top and bottom margins are already set at 1 inch, but you want your left and right margins to be 1 inch. You can either hit the arrow buttons on the side or simply type it in. Now don't click OK. What you want to do again is click Set as Default. Click the Yes button. So now again, when you create a new document in the future, you will have 1 inch margins all around. You have Times New Roman 12 point font, double spaced lines. So now we come to the document itself. You want your page number there at the top right. So click on Insert, and then you're going to want to click Page Number. Get the drop-down menu, top of page. According to MLA standards, your page number should be at the top right. So click that one right there. As you can see, your cursor is next to the page number. So you're going to want to type in your last name. Hit a spacebar. Now you have your page number. And I also want to point out that once you've inserted it, the page number will automatically populate. So there you have page 2, surname page 3, surname page 4. So this is already populated. You won't have to continuously type in your page number. So now you want to type in your name. First is your name, for example. So my name is Rene Ferrer, so I'll put my name there. Then it's your professor's name. So if your professor's name was Oscar Gonzalez, then you would put his name there. Next is a class code. By that we mean ENC 1101, SPC 1024, etc. Then you want to put the day, the month, and the year. Not month, day, year, but day, month, year, as you see there, like 30 June 2020. So no comma. Now you want to put in your essay title. So you want to center it. Don't hit the tab button, don't hit the space bar, center it, and type in the essay title. Now bear in mind when you're typing your essay title, do not capitalize it, do not bold it, let's see, do not italicize it, and do not underline it. Let me fast forward here a little bit. So don't underline it. You hit enter once, and then you put the align it back to the left for your essay. All right, and hit tab once. You begin your new paragraph. Your essay begins here. When you start a new paragraph, hit the tab button once. Again, don't hit the space bar. Just hit the tab button. In addition, only ever hit the enter or return button once. You want to keep that in mind. So after you type in your name, your professor name, your class code, the date, the title, only ever hit enter once. So for example, if you see that space there, that space is something you do not want to see in your essay. That space after your essay title is something you do not want to see. That's the result of hitting the enter button twice. So please make sure to hit the enter button once at all times when you're typing your essay. In addition, when you've completed your essay and you need to create your works cited page, your works cited page should not be on the same page as your essay, but on a brand new page. So for example, the works cited, the heading works cited, like the title, shouldn't be capitalized, shouldn't be bolded, shouldn't be italicized or underlined. But as we can see, it's on the same page as the essay. We don't want that. So put your cursor at the beginning of works cited, click the insert button, and then click page break. That'll automatically put your works cited heading at the top of the next following page. What this does then is that no matter what you type on the preceding pages, for instance, look all this I'm typing here, it doesn't affect your works cited page. It doesn't move it down. So now again, we should remove that space there because you only ever hit enter once. So this is what your essay should look like according to MLA formatting, with 1-inch margins, your page number and the last name in the top right, your student name, your professor's name, class code, day, month, year, and essay title, which is not capitalized, bold, italicized, or underlined. Now, moving on, I want to talk about correct in-text citations according to MLA format. One thing I've noticed, and students want to remember, is that, okay, hold on, let's go back a moment. I have a question here. It's, can we do the default formatting with Pages as well? I have an Apple computer. And the answer to that question is yes. I have an iPad. It also uses Pages. And you can also set default formatting, which is something I've done regularly. So it'll be different for Microsoft Office. But every Word file of whatever you use, whether it's Pages, whether it's Microsoft Word, etc., they all offer options so that you can set default settings. That way, when you create a new document, it'll always be formatted according to MLA standards, double-spaced, Times New Roman, 12-point font, 1-inch margins, and so on. So let's move on to correct in-text citations. Now, when you're introducing a source, one of the first things you want to make sure is that before using a source, you want to fully introduce the source. By that I mean that you need 3 elements. First, you have to use the author's full name the first time you use them. Now, afterwards, you can refer to them simply by their last name. But the first time you introduce a source, you want to make sure that the reader knows the author's full name. Secondly, you want to identify the genre of the source. The genre can be a blog, a tweet, a scholarly article, a magazine article, an editorial, a short story, a novel, a play, and so on. And lastly, you want to state the full title of the source. So for example, here's a sentence that shows you how to properly introduce a source. In her novel Beloved, award-winning author Toni Morrison examines the horrors of slavery. Now, if you'll note the underlined words there, we have the word novel is underlined, the word beloved is underlined, and Toni Morrison is underlined. Novel is the genre of the source. Beloved is the title of the source. And Toni Morrison is the author of the source. So in that one very simple short sentence, we fully introduce the source with the author's name, genre of the source, and title of the source. Then you want to consider your in-text citations. Now, there are 2 ways to do in-text citations. Here's the first example. Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by a, quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, end quote. And as you can see here, the parenthetical citation is 263. That will be the page where you found the quotation. Now, the reason why it only says the page number is because in the sentence, as you can see here, we've already identified the author, Wordsworth. So it's unnecessary to repeat the author's name in the parenthetical citation. However, if you look at example 2, here's how we're using the source, the evidence. Romantic poetry is characterized by, quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, end quote. And here the parenthetical citation is Wordsworth 263. Since we didn't include an in-text citation where we mentioned Wordsworth's name in the sentence, we need to include the last name of the source in the parenthetical citation. And of course, there are other kinds of parenthetical citations. For instance, when we're citing videos, rather than a page number, we'll want to cite is the minute number, the minute in the video in which the source, the quote, is drawn from. So if it's, say, a 15-minute video, and the quote is from the 7th minute, we want to cite minute 7. And when citing poetry, what want to cite rather than page number is line number, since poetry has line numbers attached to it. So rather than saying, quoting the poem on page 17 of a book, you'll quote line numbers 6 through 12. Now we want to think about, how do we build a works cited page? Now there's a great many examples of how we build works cited. Many kinds of sources, but really, realistically, in your college career, there's only about 5 different formats you'll need to remember. The most common forms you'll end up using in your college career will be citing a book, citing a magazine or periodical article, citing a website page, citing a YouTube video, or citing a scholarly or journal article. Now, if you'll notice, one of the common elements of citation is listing the last name of the author, the comma, and then the first name, followed by a period. That's true of all these citations, regardless of whatever kind of citation it is, whether it's a book, a video, etc. For a book, after you cite the author's name, you want to include the title of the book, and you want to italicize that. Then you include a period. Then you have the city the book was published in, the publisher, and the publication date. For a magazine article, again, it's the last name and the first name of the author, but you want to have the title of the article in quotation marks, not italicized. And make sure the period is inside the quotation marks, not outside. Then in italics, you'll have the title of the periodical, followed by the day, the month, and the year the magazine was published. Lastly, the page numbers of the source. So for example, you might say it might be an article from a Time magazine. So in quotation marks, you'll put the title of the article, while in italics, it'll say Time. And then you'll say day, month, year, that specific magazine was published, and the page numbers where the article could be found. If there is no day listed for the magazine, then simply list month or year. Then we have website page, and again, last name, first name, the title of the article in quotation marks, the website name in parentheticals. Again, this is very similar to a periodical. It's identical up to this point, where instead of the day, the month, the year, we'll have the article URL, the website link. And finally, the date accessed. This is important because website pages can often change over time. Information can be altered on that website page, so you want to record the day you accessed it, because then you can look at our Internet Archives and double check what the page looked like on the particular day that you accessed it. Then we have our YouTube video, which again, last name, first name, quotation marks, the title of the video. You'll italicize YouTube. Then you will list uploaded by username. The username will be whatever the name of the YouTube channel is, the upload date, and the video link. And lastly, this one you'll probably be using a great many times, which is citing a scholarly or journal article. So last name or first name, title of the article in quotation marks, and italicize the title of the journal, the volume, the issue number, the year it was published, and the page numbers where a journal article could be found. So please do me a favor, take a moment. As peer-reviewed article, yes, a scholarly journal article is peer-reviewed. That's they submit their article, and independent reviewers who are unfamiliar, who are not told the name of the author, review it, check it, and peer review it. So a peer-reviewed article is generally considered a trustworthy source, a valid, credible source. So take a look at these works cited page, these samples, and just try to familiarize yourself with how we format these for a second before we move on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. And again, this video is recorded, so if you want to take more time, pause it and then hit play again. So here's our activity. Which entry in the sample works cited page below is formatted correctly according to MLA standards? Now I have 5 different citations here. 4 of them are formatted incorrectly. And I made sure that the mistakes are pretty obvious. So do me a favor, in the chat, type the letter for the citation which you think is correct. Remember, 4 of these are incorrect. Only 1 is cited correctly. So give me your best guess. Which ones do you think are cited correctly? Which one do you think is cited correctly? All right, we have 1 guess here. Do we have any more guesses? Okay. All right. The correct answer is E, the scholarly journal citation. Now, here we have highlighted the elements which make these citations incorrect. In this one, we have a YouTube video, but all we gave you was the name of the author or the speaker, the title, and the link. We left out the fact that it was a YouTube video, who uploaded it, and the date it was uploaded. The next one was a magazine article. We have the author, we have the title, we have the name of the magazine, but we have here it's listed as year, month, but the correct answer would be month and year. And again, normally it would be day, month, year, but if you don't have the day, then just simply put to the year. In this case, the only incorrect thing was listing the name, first name, and last name. So here we go. As we can see here, Stephen King. You would not write a citation of the author's first name or last name. It's always last name, then first name. Here's a website article. We have the name, title, we have the website, we have the date it was accessed, but we don't have the link. So that's what makes that citation incorrect. So here we have some additional resources that can help you out. First off, again, I work at Learning Resources. We have numerous tutors across all campuses who are ready and willing to help you at all times. So you have the Miami-Dade College Learning Resources link. You have My WC Online, which is where you can register to make your appointments with tutors. And lastly, the Purdue OWL MLA style website. If you want other examples of how to use MLA correctly, that's a helpful source. For example, let's say going back a page, let's say you have a source that has more than 1 author, has 2 authors, has 3, and you want to know how to correctly cite those sources with multiple authors with the same last names, etc. The Purdue OWL MLA website is a huge amount of help. And in addition, I want to point out a further resource that you as a Miami-Dade College student can benefit from, which is Miami-Dade College offers free Office 365 for students. So if you look on the left there, you could see the link, www.mdc.edu/Office365. Please check it out. Please download it and take advantage of all the tools that Miami-Dade College offers you as a student. So, do we have any questions? Let's check the chat here. Do we have any questions? Okay, here's one question. One student asks, well, how do we cite a text which has 2 authors? So let's go back to our works cited page here. And again, you can see the mouse pointer here, I believe so. We have the author's name. Let's say this novel had 2 authors, Stephen King and someone else. What we would do is we would type in last name, first name, and then we would type and and then type the name of the second author. In that case, and only in that instance, would the author's name be first name, last name. So for example, let's say it was a book written by Stephen King and David Best. The citation would be King, comma, Stephen and David Best. And when we did an in-text citation of that, yes, it will be King, comma, Stephen and Brene Brown. The in-text citation will be parentheses, King and Best, or King and Brown. If there were 3 authors, it will be King, comma, Stephen, comma, Brene Brown, comma, and Stephen Best. And the in-text citation would be parentheses, King et al., then page number. So, again, do we have any more questions? All right. So finally, we have our survey. If this presentation was useful to you, this workshop was helpful to you, please take the time to click this link and go to this link and fill out this survey. And with that, from all of us learning resources, you can check the chat. The link will be there as well. So from all of us at Learning Resources at Miami-Dade College Wolfson campus, we'd like to thank you and have a good day.